Hey folks, we're diving right into another explosive report here on the front lines of political drama. Let's crank up the heat on this Trump-centric Thursday, but this time the spotlight's slamming down on Melania Trump instead of Donald. Though let's face it, he's always lurking in the shadows, right? You're bound to tie it back to him somehow. She swallowed the party line whole, which isn't shocking since she's hit that point where every thought in her head seems like pure genius. Sort of like assuming this move was brilliant. That memoir flew off the shelves, and I'm thrilled about it. I keep getting floods of notes and fan mail from folks who loved it, begging for more insights from me. Perhaps she's been pulled into the orbit because her husband's got that same rambling style. We're taking over Greenland, deal or no deal. Out of everything she could pick, she figured this was a winner. I came up with a plan to produce a film, yet she's still tied to this guy. I'd prefer a smooth agreement, the simple path, but if that fails, we'll force it through the tough route. So, what could possibly backfire with a scheme like this, bringing on board the team you require? It's a raw look at the grind to reclaim the White House. No First Ladies pulled this off before. Spot on, Melania. No one's done it for a reason. It's straight up out of touch with reality. But in this urgent update, I'm not holding back. We're exposing it front and center. Donald's revving up the engine and tipping the balance like a strong man, even on your behalf, pushing hard to force approval for your project, despite the obvious flop in sales numbers. Nobody's biting here or across the pond in the UK. We threw in some extra fire to this report for good measure. But watch what Donald's up to, scrambling to keep Melania from total embarrassment, even as she clings to those illusions. Dig into this revelation right now. Urgent alert. Melania Trump's documentary is bombing at the box office, with sources uncovering a supposed scheme to prop up numbers for the former First Lady. Dismal attendance has apparently sparked a bailout from Republican ranks. Insiders allege that various groups tied to the party her spouse Donald Trump leads have snapped up blocks of seats to cover up the film's flop. Even so, the attendance drought is tough to hide, as crowds just aren't showing up for Melania Trump's screenings. Even with comp tickets on the table, interest stays flat. There's a moment where the president's crafting his address. You step in and tweak the wording. How deep do you dive into the president's routine? I offer my input and share my views. Major alert. Melania's ticket turnout craters weeks after the debut reveal. This demand isn't real. It's manufactured. At times he takes it, at times he brushes it off, but I'm standing by to back him up. When Melania dropped the premiere date for her film last year, she probably pictured massive crowds rushing to catch her take on the build-up to President Trump's swearing in. But they label me as guilty by association. I'm just like him. I back him. I stay too quiet. I fall short on action. Not at all. Now the narrative's flipped hard, with buzz around the project way dimmer than anticipated. Even after all those months since the big announcement, sales for the film titled Melania have tanked in venues slated to run it soon. This has supposedly pushed GOP circles in pro-conservative zones to start quietly scooping up entire sessions to protect the ex-model's image, and, by proxy, President Trump's. I'm busting my tail on this. I get the holiday prep. Who cares about festive lights and setups? But it has to get done properly. Quote, "This buzz isn't genuine. A source confided to Rob Shooter's Insider Bulletin. It's all for show. Vacant rows, scream failure." In stark terms, Republicans are battling to offload Melania tickets at no cost. Per the leaks, these organizations are going full throttle, grabbing huge chunks of seats or wiping out whole theaters. Those passes then get handed out gratis or dirt cheap to insiders and allies. Plus, some are funneled via party-linked online hubs, and they pipe up, "What about those kids torn from families? Spare me." I fought to link that child back with the parent. Apparently to guarantee they land with Trump supporters. But even with the push, enthusiasm's dead, with hardly anyone claiming the offers, piling on the woes. Demands in certain spots for personal info to book a spot have scared off potentials. Quote, "They're desperate to unload these tickets. A tipster spilled. Certain showtimes barely move without party intervention." Another voice chimed in. "It comes off like a forced viewing or a test of allegiance. They lacked a fair shot. It must follow legal channels." The film's tanking overseas in Britain, too. In Britain, attendance has bombed in over 100 theaters lined up to screen the documentary. This follows Amazon MGM Studios, who snagged the distribution rights, reportedly dumping $35 million into worldwide promotion. Predictably, the weak numbers ignited savage mockery from Brits who hit X on January 27th to blast updates. In all caps, quote, "I'm cracking up so hard I startled my pup and nearly lost it." They blew over $35 million, pushing the Melania Trump flick in England. Outcome, one lone ticket, just one damn ticket, one poster vented. Quote, "Who's the buyer? Could be a rare find." A second fired back. A third noted, quote, "Scanned my nearby theater. 0 sales. Stuck in the tiniest auditorium with just 44 spots." Stunning. We pushed the release. They refused coverage. They dodged it because they're biased. One additional commenter piled on. "I verified it too. Scattered single seats here, a pair there." Good Lord, how disastrous. Bold update. Melania stays pumped on her venture. Amid the sales slump, Melania's vibe seems unshaken as she jumped on X January 25th to hype the effort after a private viewing at the White House. And if you want this crew out of power, hit that subscribe button now. But Donald's not throwing in the towel. Quote, "Melania, the film, a landmark event. I'm profoundly moved to have shared space with a dynamic gathering of companions, relatives, and trailblazers at the White House yesterday evening," she posted. The ex-model continued, "Everyone infused their distinct perspective into society, leaving an indelible mark. Our individual journeys outlast eras and underscore our shared duty to each other. It was a privilege to unveil my fresh film, Melania, prior to its international rollout. They're opposed because they're progressive outlets. Sure, if I hit Fox, they'd run it. I avoid Fox. What's the film covering?" Per the official synopsis, it tracks the initial 20 days, ramping up to her husband's second-term oath, but through the First Lady's lens. This covers key huddles, intimate chats, and unseen settings. The piece also delves into how Melania steers through the hurdles of her clan's White House comeback. Yeah, I could invent a fresh shorthand for her role beyond First Lady of the United States, but let's pivot to that other label with Lou vibes. Flop, total flop. This is the moment Melania ought to dust off that infamous coat with the message on the rear, "I really don't care." Do you? Nope. It's confirmed, Melania. We don't. And clearly, neither do your supposed admirers of the First Lady.